Hello, welcome. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Billy Mitchell, Editor-in-Chief of FedScoop, and today I'm joined by Lieutenant Colonel Dan Bartos, Marine Corps User Engagement Representative for the Cloud Computing Program Office at DISA. Lieutenant Colonel Bartos, how are you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I'm very excited to talk with you in conjunction with our Public Sector Summit, and wanted to start with a question about the last year and how the federal government has made progress in the recent months and years on its goals for digital transformation.
Well, I can definitely speak from the perspective of the Cloud Computing Program Office, where I work, where our goal is to transform the cloud to enable the warfighter. And so we've been able to identify various cloud solutions to enable some of the warfighter needs and address the challenges that they see. So some of the examples I'll give you is we've increased connectivity and collaboration across the DoD. Specifically with the implementation of the commercial virtual remote environment, and then transitioning to support some of the Microsoft 365 efforts as well. We've established a centralized identity and authentication system through the global directory. And what that's also enabled us to do is help enhance security by trying to move away from our traditional castle and moat models to a more of a zero trust security model. Additionally, we've had projects to accelerate cloud adoption through the infrastructure as code efforts. And then lastly, we've able to enhance communication capabilities out at the tactical edge using global cloud infrastructure through some of our other projects as well.
That's great, and a great start, so thank you for that. My second question, I'd like to ask you about how your organization's been able to help with missions at the edge by leveraging private sector research and development and investments in things like emerging technology, 5G, artificial intelligence, that next generation cutting edge technology. How has that helped with that mission at the edge?
Well, so kind of to dovetail off my previous answer, one of our projects was looking at trying to capitalize on the capabilities that exist with the native global infrastructure that the cloud service providers are able to provide. And so by being able to tap in that infrastructure with some of these emerging technologies that we're seeing, specifically 5G, is also, you'll see a lot of partnerships with the cloud service providers and a lot of commercial satellite capabilities as well. When you tie in the infrastructure that the cloud service providers have with some of the cutting edge transport capabilities out at the edge, there is a lot of potential there for a lot of really great, really tremendous capabilities for some of the challenges that we see at the very, very farthest edges of the tactical space.
So you mentioned zero trust in your opening response to the first question. So I'd love to ask you, how does zero trust play a role in securing agencies' modern tech architectures?
Well, so because zero trust, it's continuously authenticating, authorizing, and validating users, with their access in the environment. It's very well suited to enable a cloud-based environment. And so as more and more organizations with the Department of Defense kind of move to these cloud-based environments, zero trust becomes more and more relevant. Because with the potential scale that the cloud environments provide, you're going to need something that's continuously, running that validation against the users and their activity, what they're trying to access, what they're doing. So in order to realize the full potential that the cloud has to offer, we're going to need something like a zero trust model to, otherwise, I think you're going to have a very degraded user experience as we move to some of these cloud-based environments.
Yeah, that's a good point. Lieutenant Colonel Bartos, as we wrap up, I'd love to ask again about emerging technologies, and this time focus a little bit more on, which ones do you think are going to have the biggest impact on the government or the DoD operations of the future?
So taking kind of my answer back to kind of the tactical edge, I think as we see the dispersion of compute and store out to the tactical edge, there's going to be a massive impact in turn with this, with some of the exploration that you're seeing with as it relates to artificial intelligence, connectivity between IoT networks of sensors out at the edge, autonomous platforms. All of that's going to be enabled by this dispersed compute and store out of the edge. So I really think that is kind of the next generation of where we're going to go to enable some of the capabilities out at the edge, and where we're going to see tremendous impacts in the coming years.
Yeah, I agree. And it sounds like a very fascinating future to watch. But for now, that's all I have. Lieutenant Colonel Bartos, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.